Joining us now, of course, she is the head coach at Long Beach State, where she's also a Hall of Famer, was inducted in 1998, one of the greats, was an All-American while playing there, was part of the Women's College World Series, of course, has won four Big West Coach of the Year awards, has been just led him back to the NCAA tournaments, won numerous conference championships and NCAA tournament appearances. I speak of course, Kim Sowder joining us here on In the Circle. Coach, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and looking forward to this.
So let's talk about last year, though, because you had one of the most dramatic finishes I can remember any team having. Going into the final week of the regular season, you're playing Cal State Fullerton, you're hosting them. You know you have to sweep them to win the conference championship, and you pull it off. Just take me through that approach, because you were playing catch-up that whole year against a really good Fullerton team. Coach Ford always has a great team there. Just take me through last season. It was so unique. You're starting later. You're playing from behind. You're dealing with protocols, but you make this run and you cap it off by a dramatic series win to win a conference championship. Just kind of describe it.
Well, it was pretty epic at the end there, but I think going into season, not having a preseason, I think we ended up with, I don't even know, 6 games, 6 or 7 preseason games that we really weren't ready for. We just kind of had probably maybe 9 practices after being off for a year and just thought our only shot to go to postseason is to win our conference. So we're going to use our preseason to help us get ready, kind of like practices. And, we knew we wouldn't have a shot with RPI without having our preseason. So we went all in to, try to win the conference as we do every year. But this year we had to do that in order to get to the postseason. So we played those preseason games and took a few hits, and we, like I said, I didn't feel like we were ready, but our team knew that, and they knew that we needed to learn quickly last year from every opportunity that we had, and they did that. They did that all season. Even in conference, we had those couple of losses during conference, and we knew we had good opportunities in those games that we lost, and we had to change some mindsets. And I think because Fullerton is so good and has done so well, we were putting a little extra pressure on ourselves to be perfect, and instead of just playing with no fear and going for things and in some tight situations. So I felt like we learned quickly from those couple of losses and bounced back, and kind of the whole way, even going into the last week. And so you're saying there's a chance, and we just kind of said, so there, you're saying there's a chance, all the way to the end. And it was an incredible season, and I could not be more happy for a team. They deserved every bit of it. They really came together as a team. I mean, we had so many players that really didn't have any opportunity, and they were just excited for the players that were in there. They were fighting for them from the, outside of the dugout, on the sidelines, and just kind of doing all the little things that add up for a team that you don't always get to see. And so that was just so rewarding to see those things pay off, and to see a full team effort, and with so many that all they could do was battle on the sides for us and push and practice. But so it was awesome.
What was it like? I mean, that weekend, you know what you have to do. You drop one game, you're done. Not only are you done from the conference championship race, but your season's basically going to be done because you're not going to move on to the NCAAs, as you mentioned, due to the RPI and things like that. What was the approach like? How did you keep your players from not overthinking it, not putting too much pressure on themselves? Because it's easy to say, hey, we got to be perfect, or, and then all of a sudden you're not playing your best. So as a staff, how were you able to let your players play their best in a situation where you had no room for error?
Yeah, I think that just, I mean, Fullerton has been so good and they have dominated, and we knew there wasn't much room. So I think we were playing the whole season that way. And we really, it helped us to focus on what we had control over and what we wanted our mindset to be, not overthinking things and really just going for it. I mean, leaving it all out there and not trying to be perfect. We had the confidence that we could battle back. You know, we had a very strong offense and knew that, you know, we didn't need to be perfect. But so I think, you know, we needed every game and we just played it one game at a time. And, you know, Kelly White did just an outstanding job in the circle to give us that, you know, the confidence that we needed and to, you know, really lead the way for our team.
Where does this championship rank? I mean, you've had so much great moments as a player and as a coach. You know, it's a fourth conference championship, but with all the adversity you went through as a team last year, off the field and even on the field, as I mentioned, you got. I mean, the margin was there. I mean, that was a heck of a Fullerton. That's a memorable race in Big West history. Where does that rank as far as your career to this point?
I have to say it ranks up there at the top as far as our conference championships. I mean, they're all super special. And I mean, our last one, I remember it came down to the last day as well against Santa Barbara. And we went 10 innings back and forth and back and forth and ended up winning that one. So, I mean, that was special too. But this one just, you know, being our rival, Cal State Fullerton, and having them at our field, it's just, it's not something we wanted to let happen. You know, it was, you know, we didn't want any celebrations on our field, and they just, I couldn't be more proud and thankful for our players to represent our program and have the courage and fight that they did.
You mentioned Kelly White was your ace, best pitcher in the league, pitcher of the year, all conference, all region, you name it. She's moved on. Susie Brookshire was fun to watch. Obviously, a big impact player for you. Part of a great group that, you know, goes out on top with a conference championship. Breezy Wise. Just talk about that legacy and the input that they left on this program, because obviously that's going to be one of the storylines. You're going to get asked about this a lot between now and February. How do you replace them? You don't. Let's first, though, kind of reminisce on what each of those accomplished for your school.
I mean, they were a special group and just such a mature group of seniors that, I mean, I'm just so proud of the way they led, and not necessarily, I mean, our 3-4-5 hitters with Gonzo, Susie, and Breezy Wise. I mean, I don't know if we've had a stronger 3-4-5 together. The way they just were contagious and just they were so mature. They really did stay within themselves. They didn't they grew up in ways where they didn't beat themselves up, and if they didn't have a good game or they didn't get it done, they just respected the game so much and really grew. And I mean, could not ask for better role models for our team. Just special hitters. They just a lot of confidence, a lot of maturity, a lot of success. And when you have them and back to back to back there, it's, you know, it allowed them to not feel like they had to get it done every time. So they made our, you know, our whole lineup better. They were fun to watch, and it was great to see them all have that success. They worked hard at it, both physically and mentally. They wanted to leave a legacy. They were, you know, fighting for the school, and they did an outstanding job. And Kelly, I mean, Kelly came back and, you know, took a little while to really get rolling, but she never changed from day one. I mean, she had great energy. She was going to give you everything she had every time she was out there. And if it wasn't, she wasn't the pitcher of the week and somebody else was, she was their biggest fan. And so you just, it just worked out perfectly. They earned it, just by being great team players. And you can't ask for more when your biggest performers are your really good special people at the same time doing the being good team players. So
She left a great legacy there, especially in the circle. You've always had great legged pitchers in the circle when you've had success. I think of Brooke Turner, who I remember back, part of your '08 team that was a national seed, and to me is the best player I've seen from your program in the 15 years I followed it. But you had other pitchers last year that helped, and that's going to be part of the helping the kind of taking that next, passing the baton. Kelly White passing it on to the next great pitcher. Talk about your staff this year and what you expect from them, and who's that potential next great pitcher.
um Sam Fowler is somebody that just, I mean, I love talking about her because she worked so hard and didn't get a lot of time for a year or two, and will continue to work. And I mean, was breaking records for her personal records in the weight room during COVID, when it was tough to be motivated during that time for a lot of people. And she was kind of breaking records, and didn't pitch a lot. And then Shannon went down, and it was Sam kind of stepped up. We needed her to pitch, and she was just, I mean, she was phenomenal for us. She gave us some great wins. I mean, just came in and had a lot of strikeouts, 12 or 13 against Hawaii, had a great win against Cal. I mean, just really was prepared for her opportunity. And she was outstanding. And we had every intention. We were looking forward to her pitching in the last weekend as well, because she was doing so well. And because of a health situation, she was unable to go. And so that's why Kelly ended up throwing all 3 games for us. So Sam is healthy, and working really hard, and definitely someone we're looking to lead the way in the circle. And then Shannon Haddad was freshman pitcher of the year, and she was a big part of our success last year. Just gave our team a lot of confidence. When she's in the circle, she's got great stuff, and she's been cleared to start back. So we're, a healthy Shannon is going to be a huge part of our lineup this year. And then we have four pitchers that were all here last year. And a lot of them didn't get a lot of pitching time. I think Morgan Quinlan got the most, but they've all pitched this fall quite a bit and have really done a good job. Sophia Fernandez is somebody that's had a really strong fall. She'll be a sophomore this year. Morgan Quinlan as well. Shelby Frutos has really sat out for 2 years. We were planning to redshirt her the COVID year because of our numbers, and she's somebody that we thought really could benefit from a year in the weight room. And then we came back last year and basically just didn't have a fall. And with the number of pitchers, we didn't want to waste a year for her. So she redshirted this past season, and she's had a great fall as well. So super excited to see her finally get her time in the circle, and again has done real well. And then Addie Kostrencic, she was a redshirt pitcher for us last year. Just all options, and give us a lot of depth in the circle.
It's tremendous, and having that experience that they've pitched, that's going to be huge. I mean, Shannon was the freshman of the year, as you mentioned, 8-0 with a 2.05 ERA. I mean, that's depth, and you've got depth there as well, which has to help too. A little bit of a mix there.
Yes, absolutely. It's like I said, they've all got opportunities to throw this fall, and all have had success and done some really good things. So I see every single one of them getting some pitching time in the circle. to
Offen-
start the season.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Now, offensively, now who are going to be some of the players you kind of lean on as your leaders right now for your offense? We mentioned obviously Brookshire and why some of the players that moved on, graduated. Who are some of the offensive leaders you're looking to this year?
Yeah, it's going to be a whole new look. And we've talked a lot about that this fall of not trying to be who we were, but really just being who we are and maximizing everyone's, potential. And I think it's going to be different. We have quite a bit of speed. We're going to, try to manufacture runs probably a lot more than the long ball. We do have people that certainly can hit the long ball, but I think Cam Cecil, she definitely has come a long way and played this summer in Florida, got, some more experience, has been hitting the ball really well. Two other players, Sarah Olson and Riley Sipe, both were 350 hitters the year prior, batted 1-2 for us. And with COVID last year, I think just the weight room and the late start affected both of them. So looking forward to seeing both of them back in the lineup, as well as Maddie Ruffin, who has been a starter for us in the past consistently. So I think them, along with Justine Briones, just a catcher in her 5th year, and she is a worker, and she came up with some big hits for us last year, especially against Fullerton. And just she's kind of doesn't always have the highest number, but she certainly is somebody you want up to bat when the game's on the line. And she's gotten better every year she's been with us, and just as in her 5th year and mature, and she'll definitely be a big part of our offense. And the other one, Kira Schneider, really a strong hitter, and I think didn't get as many at bats just because of who we had in that 3, 4, 5 last year, but she learned from them, is really strong, had a really good outing this fall, loves to hit. She hits every day, and definitely will be a big part of our offense as well. And we have a couple transfers with some experience coming in. Ashley Ine, she's a 5th year from Eastern Carolina, ECU. Played shortstop for them and just has a lot of experience, and can do everything at the plate from the left side. Both her and Carly Robbins, who is a transfer from South Carolina, infielder as well. I see both of them having an immediate impact, within our offense, so, and defense. So many. We have a huge team. So I mean, I'm not gonna, be able to talk about everyone, and there's certainly probably
That's a good problem to have, by the way. That's a good problem.
I know there's a lot of them that will probably, do some great things, and they've all done something special in the fall, and it is a good problem to have. So
I was going to say, and it's fascinating to talk about the offense maybe being a little different, Asher. For those that didn't follow you, I mean, your offense last year was dynamic. Hit 320 as a team. You had 30, scored a bunch of runs. I'll mention some of the stats from some of the players. We've talked about Brookshire hit 400, 10 home runs, 49 RBIs, and Alyssa Gonzalez was your leading hitter, 409, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs. Naomi Hernandez, 383 home runs, 16 RBIs. They were all conference and region performers. Breezy Wise, 376, 5 homers, 40 RBIs. Just kind of when those type of production offensively, how easy or how hard is it to adjust offensively if you don't have maybe the power you had a year ago to go more speed or more slow ball? How much of that process goes into it during an off season or in the fall where you work on that?
Yeah, it's very tough. It's very tough when you lose, that was a big chunk of our RBIs. So we are working hard on that this fall, just to focus on being us and being great in our own way. and, not comparing or trying to be, what we were last year. So we certainly have the tools to be very successful. It's just gonna, look different. Going to look quite a bit different. But we still have 19 returners. Even though we lost a lot, we have a lot that were in there and are really hungry to, show what they've learned and the work they've put in. They're hungry for it. So um, that certainly is a good thing.
Do you have a vocal leader at this point, or is that still evolving with this team?
Yeah, I think it's still evolving, for sure. Just a lot of our infield is going to look very different this year. It could all be different, quite honestly. So I think Justine Briones is definitely, in her fifth year and works really hard and is, wants to hold everyone accountable, and she puts in that work. And I think she certainly is somebody. She's not super vocal, but she definitely talks when she needs to. So I think this fall we're kind of finding who our leaders are going to be. Some of the transfers have some great experience, and they speak up quite a bit. Ashley and Carly, both are very vocal, and a couple of the freshmen as well. So I think Jacqueline Bakar, who's played mainly at second base and has been really consistent for us this fall. She's pretty quiet right now, but she's definitely leading by example, just with her play and her work ethic, and confidence. And Marissa Caballero is another one that is competing at shortstop for us right now as a freshman. And I think both of them, as time goes on, will become more vocal as the season goes on. But
Well, it's so huge to kind of have a fall back where you get to kind of grow as a team. Well, you didn't have that last year. I mean, you started late, but at least you had an experienced group last year, so you could kind of navigate through it. Where it would have been a lot harder if you had this roster, where now you have the fall. Plus, I've had a lot of coaches on the show tell me one of the things that they struggled with was defensively, because they didn't get the reps they used to get in the fall. They were kind of playing catch up, and it showed more on the defensive side. Did you find that as accurate?
absolutely. I know our focus was to really shore up the defense, and I'm excited about our defense this year. I think we could be really, really solid, and we have had a lot of reps and a lot of time to kind of figure things out, which we needed this year. It would have been tough last year. So with our numbers, and it's been great this fall. But yeah, defense is definitely going to be stronger this year.
There was an big news in the offseason, too. The school made an announcement about some renovations through a lot of their facilities. You're a part of that softball
Yes.
stadium. Tell us about that for those who not be aware, because this is a big step here.
This is a huge step, and a lot of people just assume that we had lights all this time, but we have not had lights, and we are getting lights this season. So they've been out kind of marking the spots, and I think they have all the electrical part done on it. So they were going to shoot for March to get those lights up for us, and this is just a game changer for our program, just in so many ways, of being, having an opportunity to host postseason, to hosting more tournaments, playing some night games, to just recruiting. It'll be really big for recruiting and being able to host events during the week at night, in order to be able to see a lot more players. And it's super exciting. So we
That's
can't wait.
That's incredible. I remember the last time we spoke, you telling me we're hoping, we're kind of in the process. It's a little ways away, but we're kind of working on it. What was it like when you got the news? What was your reaction as somebody who's obviously been hoping for this moment here to kind of be in this step here?
I couldn't believe it. I was like for reals? Is this going to happen like, this year? Or was kind of waiting for, well, if we get this and we get that, then, maybe it might happen, in a year or two. But to hear that it was going to happen and it was going to happen this year was just super exciting. And to know that, we're getting that support from our athletic department, our university is super exciting.
And this is huge because you host tournaments this year. You'll be back to hosting tournaments after last year, but you're always one of the marquee tournaments that a lot of schools go to. Even schools, especially like, I cover UCF, for example, they go to your tournament a lot. That's when they kind of circle because you get a great field. Now, with the renovations, you can have lights. I got to imagine this is going to give you more maybe options, maybe some more flexibility from a scheduling standpoint, and maybe even bringing in more teams, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a lot of options. I mean, a lot of these teams have kids from California. They want to come bring them back home and play in front of their families. And we always have a lot of teams that want to come out. We have great weather. We're a couple miles from the beach, and there's always really strong competition at our tournaments. And yeah, I think we certainly will probably host two or three tournaments at this point. So it'll be great just to get our fans out there. And there's no doubt we'll have some really good crowds being able to play at night. So
I'm curious if you appreciate hosting tournaments more now and being part of tournaments than you were, say, before last year. We had Coach Flowers on the show. She said the one thing that really, stood out to her, that the West Coast, they took it for granted, the tournaments they had. And they didn't realize that until not having it last year because all the quality games they missed out on because they didn't have those tournaments. Do you feel that same way? Because I felt like the West Coast in particular was hurt by not having all your tournament, Judy Garman's, the Mary Nutters. It really hurt a lot of the West Coast teams and hurt the resumes, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge to have tournaments out here and really bring some great competition from out of our region. We can play each other a lot here up and down the coast, but to bring in the Bostons, the Nebraska, the Iowa States, and a lot of Michigan, and a lot of schools like that, UCF coming out, it's just great to be able to play those teams, those strong teams from out of our region.
No question about that, and it's exciting to have those tournaments back and you being able to host once again. A couple more things. I mentioned earlier, people may not be aware, you're a Hall of Famer there. You're an All-American, one of the greats. You're part of 3 Women's College World Series appearances there. The school's had 5. You've been part of 3. How do you feel you're different as a coach than you were as a player? How much are you different? How much are you the same?
Well, I mean, I think just being a D1 player and coach, you got to be competitive. And I think I am definitely my competitiveness is the same. And I'm just different. I think I'm a little more wise now as a coach. The game has just evolved so much. There's so much more information out there and people sharing information and just about everything from teamwork to the strength training to everything. So I feel as a coach, I mean, I have so much more information after 29 years of coaching. You just have a lot more information and just a lot different. I think I'm the same for the most part, but have a little more experience and a little more information from people, learning from others, and but still competitive and want to win.
Yeah, no doubt. I've talked to some of the coaches that are coaching their alums, like a Tracy Addix-Zins at DePaul. She admitted to me that one of the things that she had to overcome early was putting extra pressure on herself because she's an alum and she has so much passion for DePaul that you don't want to add those extra pressures to the coaching job because you're the head coach. Did you have to deal with that when you took over the program as a coach, having the passion for the school, the passion knowing, being a player? Did you have any of that, or was it, has it, you've been able to kind of an even keel as far as the coach, and it has to be?
I think it's been even kill. I mean, I bleed black and gold. I can't even picture myself somewhere else. I just I just want to fight as hard as I can for this university. They've done so much for me, and I'm grateful. And I just try to show up and show that as much as I can every day. But I don't feel any extra pressure. I guess it's the university has been so supportive, and there are so many coaches that have been at Long Beach State and been head coaches longer than I have. So we've kind of watched each other's families grow up, and it really is a family feel, and there's a lot of support, and that's how kind of our campus is. I think people just people come and stay at Long Beach State for a long time. So there's tons of continuity, and people helping each other, and a lot of support. So I mean, Cindy Masner was our SWA for 35 years and played in the softball program. We have tons of players that work on campus, from our softball program, in the athletic department and outside of it. So I don't feel like there's ever any extra pressure. I think we all put that extra pressure on ourselves
Right,
as
and that's what I was going to allude to. Did you
players.
did,
Yeah.
did, did you put extra pressure on yourself because you're an alum and you just have that extra passion for the school, or did you were able to control that? I guess.
I think I would just probably do the same no matter what
Yeah.
situation I was. I mean, if someone gives you that opportunity to lead a program, you want to do everything you possibly can. So yeah, I don't feel extra pressure. I feel support, and makes me want to do it that much more. So
A couple last things. I want to ask about the Big West. Give an outlook of the Big West for fans that don't follow, because I feel like your league gets kind of shafted at times at the level of softball. I mean, your program has been tremendous. You got Fullerton, Coach Ford, what she's done, we've alluded to as well. But there's others. UC Davis is kind of up and coming there. Cal Poly now with Michelle Granger is kind of involved on the pitch as a full-time assistant. They're one of the great players of all time. You got Charlotte Morgan taking over at CSUN there. Just talk about the overall thoughts on the league. Hawaii, people know about. What your thoughts on the league itself?
yeah, I think our league right now is I think everybody is, we want to everyone's fighting to get better, and I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. Like you said, I mean, UC Davis was strong last year, and they had quite a few players that they were missing because of COVID, and Charlotte's come in and done a great job at CSUN as far as what you see out there with recruiting, and just really trying to improve their program. Patty's at UCSD done a phenomenal job of coming in, and they had a really solid year last year, just in their first year with us. So I'm excited. We're trying to push to get those 2-3 teams back into the postseason like we used to have.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of ramping up the scheduling a little bit. A big focus is trying to improve our RPI throughout our conference, and it's we got to schedule a little bit tougher, and I see that happening with a lot of the tournaments that the teams in our conference are going to, and I'm just excited for the direction that we're heading in, for sure.
No doubt. So, and it's always dramatic. It's always a battle every weekend. And you mentioned it. Like, it seems like it always comes down to the last weekend. You've mentioned it's happened many a times during your run, and that it's always fascinating. And it's always that team too that shows up in the bracket that represents the league. And I feel like a lot of times people are like, "Oh boy, that's going to be a challenge in that regional."
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just I think in our conference, I mean, we want the best team going at the end of the year. And I know last year we didn't do as well as we thought we were going to do, which was unfortunate. But I feel like prior to that, we've been getting stronger and stronger in the postseason. Our goal is to get to that super regional and push forward. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to do that. And but one step at a time. Just got to keep grinding, keep getting better, hopefully getting more competitive in our conference to get us all ready for that postseason.
Last question now is obviously you can kind of start wrapping up fall, and then before you know it, February will be here. What are going to be some of the keys for this team to accomplish your eternal goals and be right back there in the mix there to win that conference championship and beyond?
I think just really focusing on, it starts in the circle. We're gonna, need to get some good, solid, consistent performances from our pitchers. We're gonna need 2 or 3 to step up and take over those starting roles. And just continue to push each other, put team first, fight for Long Beach State and our program. And I think if we do that, the rest will take care of itself. So just gotta put in the work, stay selfless, and keep grinding.
Well, we look forward to that and seeing your team this upcoming season, Coach. I appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule. And again, congrats. That was incredible to kind of follow last year, that ending with that series. It was amazing. I actually remember watching it on ESPN Plus, and it was dramatic. And congrats on that. Congrats on the success. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. And we'll certainly try to do this again down the road.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it.